Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, our teammate then.
Did you join, teammate?
Yeah. I want to maximize this screen. I'll do that. It just asked me for my
Passphrase or whatever?
passphrase. You know, I bet you if I didn't have a key, it wouldn't bother.
I think you need a key to SSH.
There's something specific about the way teammate recorded it anyway, maybe they. Right. Put it on this side.
Okay. Just share the terminal, I guess. Can you do that? No, you can't. Alright.
You got it.
So all the specs are still passing, but... So you just joined?
Yes.
Just a second, right? Because it said...
About 10, 20 seconds ago. Does it
Oh,
show
really?
somebody else has joined?
Yeah.
Right.
Alright, let's do... how can we do this?
Well, we can just
I mean,
carry on the
I don't
screen.
want to broadcast a teammate SSH session like live on Google Plus.
No, okay. You can send it to me as a private message in Slack.
Right, but they're still going to be able to see.
Oh yeah, they'll still see it. I'll stop screen sharing and that should. Otherwise, it will appear.
Let me see, where did my, what the hell? Oh. Alright. Decorking. Did you stop sharing, or?
Yes. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, it's popped up. Right, I'm in so that the not visible. If I do that, then I can move away from that. If I hide it from the screen, and then I'll share the terminal.
So anyway, let's do. Ooh, that doesn't make sense. So if we look at the branch, you can see it on GitHub. see, Gmaps for Rails. So what we can do is look over, let's see, all the changes, like go look at some of the more changes. Because basically what happened was John started editing the feature steps to get the map to pass, and he was doing it alone or whatever, so certain things were omitted from tests. I'm not sure. We worked on tightening up one of the steps before last night, Marion and I. If you look on the pull request, you can see the broader context of.
Is this a pull request into the main repo?
Yeah.
Gotcha. RFC.
And we've changed one step, I think. So basically all the big changes are in the map steps file. If you go down quite a ways, there's a feature steps definition map steps.
And I noticed that there's, let's see, there's one extra new dependency, and that's underscore Rails.
Yes.
Is that just used behind the scenes, or are you using some of its, calling some of its functions directly?
I think it's used by the Gmaps for Rails gem. So let's see. So basically, he changed the coordinates. You see the file in particular, the map steps file? Let me open it over here too. So these we had worked on. Let's see. So in his original step, the first step that I should see hyperlinks for A, B, and C in the map was deceptive, the wording, because he looked for descriptions basically. But the step doesn't actually say anything about descriptions. Our old implementation happened to scrape for descriptions because they happen to be right next to the anchor. But that's not necessarily the way it is now, or it's not necessarily the best way to do it. So what we did was, we now, if you see on line 5, we basically check that each of the info windows has, or rather that for each org, there is an info window for which that org's name is the text of a hyperlink pointing to the show path of the org. Do you see that?
So the org's name is this descriptions object is
developed on line 3. It's basically just a concatenation of all the info windows, all 3 info windows.
Okay, so there is only 3 info windows. I was wondering what. Yeah, so you loop through the orgs, and then you
and
look in descriptions object to look for the XPaths. So the descriptions is just a string that looks like HTML.
yes, and you can run XPath assertions against it.
Great. So we're looking for the href with the organization ID, which is the anchor. Then you're looking for the name. Is it the anchor I'm looking for, or what am I looking for in it? Oh, right, the URL is the
You're looking
organization
for the
ID.
hyperlink, yeah.
Misspoke
You're
there.
looking for
Yeah.
the anchor.
Yeah.
So we think that's better than what was put in there before.
Yeah, it does what it says. Yeah, it does exactly what it says in line 1. I agree.
And then the next step is we took out the wording. The next step had the wording that with the map centered on the local organizations
Mm-hmm.
because it's now not in the DOM. Like get you can't get where it's centered at from the DOM anymore. Before we used to.
Oh, so you would look for something in the HTML that had that.
Something in a script tag basically that we were scraping.
Ah, okay. So that's gone missing. Yeah.
So let's see, what do they do? So does this actually do what it says? Then I should see these 3 names. Pluck. We're plucking them, we're flattening, and we're doing uniques. It's kind of doing it like
Oh,
expect
sorry,
markers.
you're on line 13. Yes, I was looking at the cursor. Yeah.
Yeah. So is this really doing?
But why?
Expect markers to have words is on line 35. Oh, right. So for each word.
Oh, I see. Sorry, one is looking for info windows, and the other's looking for markers. Yeah.
Well,
So words flatten each do.
where does the word? So on line 37, where does markers come from? Oh, we defined it. Find marker data. Data markers. All right, it's on line 31. There's a helper method that finds the markers.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite as tight a test. Let's see, what did we have before? We just test it. So it is actually kind of equivalent to what we had before.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we had before was we just checked that the script contained that value.
Mm-hmm.
However,
Yeah.
it's not really the same though, because
You're looking at the old code.
yeah, I'm just looking on the diff.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could do that in the terminal.
Yeah, I can look at.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Why does this doesn't seem right to me? Check map. Oh, check map. So before, what did we have for check map? For each name, we checked the script tag. And then we said all organizations to Gmaps for Rails should match at the name. Just trying to see what we actually checked before. So what we did before was we checked the map on those names. We iterated through each name. We checked the script tag for that name. So we checked that it was in the script somewhere. And then we ran organization.all to Gmap for Rails should match name. And then we actually checked that. Okay. So what do we actually, if we put a bug debugger in here, and then I should see. So line 22, right? Run scenario 20. What do we get? Oh, no write since last change. That's. So I'm just running that feature which uses that step. So we have an array of names, the coordinates. How do I step into something? Do you remember? S, right?
Oh, I don't know by bug. Yeah.
It's the same as, basically the same as debugger.
I'd forgotten how to step in, to be honest.
Words. Okay. Next. So what we have here is we actually have, from the markers method, we have a array of hashes, I think, right?
Well, array of JavaScript objects.
Oh wait, we don't. This is actually just.
And it's a bunch of key value pairs. Yeah.
But it's just a string. So what if we do a JSON call on it? I feel like we've done that. So if we do JSON.parse markers, then we get back something. Alright?
Something not quite right.
Oh right,
We've got square brackets around it, but it's actually a it's markers. Oh, you've got.
So there we go. So if we just parse the markers, it feels like we can do better than this test does. Like, but how would we do it? So
When you say that, you're testing for Google to make errors and miss.
No.
Put the wrong coordinates on the wrong organization.
Well, that our code does the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
That it gets the right values associated with each other onto the map.
Okay.
Rather than just that the values are there in general.
Yeah, that sounds a good ambition. Yeah.
So JSON.
So
Brittle.
should be able to do length on that and get length. What's 4? Oh, we've only got 3 organizations. That's kind of weird. One,
I
two.
think it's.
Oh yeah, there is 4. Yeah.
There's probably a 4th one in the step somewhere.
Yeah. Youth UK, F the Elderly, Age UK, Indian Elders, and Harrow Bereavement. Yeah.
So how can we do this? We would just do like basically we want to check that we want to get the info window. Let's say we do 0.
Yeah, there's something telling me there ought to be a library function to do it, but anyway, what we need to do is to go through all the info windows to find our string and then see if it's in the same row of the array
Right.
as but the same array entry as its coordinates.
Right. So if we do it here.
I mean, we could simply do an each loop, look for the string, and each with a counter, so that we then just do not 0 to 3 to loop through the whole object.
So what we really want, right, is it feels like if we go here, so let's drop back into there. Marion does something that lets you get back the lines and your, like you see these lines 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and all that.
Mm-hmm.
She does something that lets you actually get back those things once you scroll.
I think it's the letter L. No, just L. L enter should get you it. It doesn't. It's giving you the next bit. Oh, you've jumped. L with jumped ahead 11. If it's purely L enter, it should give you the where you are. Yes, that's it.
Anyway, so let's see names. So what happens if we just do so what we can do actually, we're not necessarily, are we actually guaranteed to get back the names in that order? Probably not, right?
I'm sure we're not. No. When we pull a name, we need to pull its latitude and longitude to get them associated. We don't want to do it like this.
Yeah.
I mean, here we've got. Well, hang on. No, I don't see why you shouldn't get that in that order. I'll go look at the docs for pluck unless you remember exactly what it's supposed to do.
Well, I just mean, does the org get pulled in the order that the names in the array are? That would be a coincidence. Like, is that guaranteed? Probably not. I would doubt that that's guaranteed.
Yeah, that could be different each time. Each time you build the database, yeah.
So what if we did...
Yeah, so there's far too many layers to guarantee that, yeah.
So what we could do is just build an array of hashes. So how would we do that? We would do equal name1 lat.
Hold on, I've got to step away for a moment. Sorry, Michael. Parcel person came to the door.
What?
A parcel delivery.
So it feels like there should be a way to do this. How do we build up an array? What we would do is we would map, right? We would map.
Yeah, you
Map
would,
over the
Matt.
names
Yes,
array.
because you're doing, one-to-one. You're building a new collection.
So what we would do is and we would build and latitude organizing. Latitude.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can nuke that. Right?
Yeah, that should make the thing we want.
So that looks promising. Except we need to actually have the line in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so now that we actually have... Why the hell is it coming back as a... We don't actually need to pluck the latitude, we just need to actually call the latitude.
Call the latitude method, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
undefined method latitude.
Dot coords or something like that.
Why is so latitude is not defined?
Hang on a minute. Yeah. Yeah, you can pluck the latitude. That's pretty weird.
Let's view all the changes. So 22 changed files. So I mean, the DB schema should have. Let me just go in there and do. There it is, latitude and longitude. Is that wrong? Did I?
Well, it looks spelled correctly.
Oh, wait. I know what it is. Like that. Because the where method returns.
Oh, okay. Well, is that different? That's different from the find by method then.
Yeah. Although I have a feeling they're going to deprecate the find by. They've deprecated find all by ID or whatever, but stuff like that. Alright, so that looks good. Now what do we need to do? So basically for each one of these name coordinate entries, we have to see that
I guess it'll be.
that name is somewhere in the U.
No,
So how do we
we could do it the
go
other way
on?
around. We could look by latitude. Look for each latitude, then look for its matching longitude, and then do the string match as well.
Well, the only thing about that is they could be at the same locations.
Yeah, they could. You're right.
So
yeah, do it by name. Yeah.
But is there a way to say or? There isn't, is there? They expect.
Oh, you mean to or the three entries?
Well, I just mean we know that say they could appear in one of those descriptions, but we don't necessarily know which one.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we deal with that marker?
Right, so we could just do it brute force and then think about doing it smarter once we've done brute force.
We do it brute force.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, JSON. Markers. Oh, brute force. We would have it do you have any ideas?
I was thinking that we could use select on the array. So you loop through the array selecting by name and a matcher, and when you get that, then you match it with the latitude and longitude. Then have an outer loop that goes around by all three names.
JSON.parse.matcher.
Yeah.
Okay, so marker. And what's the, is that it? Is that the, so it's a string.
Before you just, we just did it to include, contains.
Or does it include?
We used to include in line 44, I think that's correct.
Line 44.
Yeah, it's the same, except its name, org name, yeah. And then where you've got org underscore name, that would be name underscore coord.
Well, we could.
Yeah, you could assign it there.
And then, or empty, right? It's empty. It would be an empty.
Yes, that would do line 19, but it doesn't do line 20. Doesn't deal with line 20,
Which was the
which
coordinates,
was
right?
matching the coordinates.
First.
Yes, you're right. Yes, because result is going to be an array.
Debug. Let's just drop into the debugger from here. So results, it has one entry, right?
Yes.
And what we can do with this is almost where you need tests to test your tests.
Yes.
So what is the broader context? So
there is a gem that automates the mutation tests, I think.
name. Is that really what we want?
Have you any doubts left? I'm 90%, 95% sure that's what we want.
Just
yeah. Will result dot first throw an error in any case if line 20, if it's not empty. I mean, if it is empty.
Yes. Well, if it's not empty, if it is empty, then it'll just stop at line 17, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It should not only be empty. We might as well say that we expect the length to be 1 because it's kind of by accident we're creating an array anyway. I think that'd be useful if we're coming along later.
I mean,
Yeah, I think that's what I wanted, yeah.
so that passes.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to see, how would we break it?
We could. It's very hard to break. We've pulled something that pulls the written code that pulls the latitude and longitude from the database and sends it out to the internet, and then to test it, we do exactly the same thing again. We pull the latitude and longitude from the database and compare it with what we get back from the internet.
Right.
So it's really, really hard to break without actually deleting one of the organizations entirely from what we send.
Right.
Or in our original call to Gmax, putting some sort of hard-coded error into the latitude, adding 10 degrees to it or something.
Method. Yeah, right here. There's a method.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we could do like just change this.
Yeah, and it should fail on the first organization.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, does that actually...
Yeah,
In a
minus
loop, it's kind of hard to see.
longitude.
What are you saying?
I was just saying that was the error, exactly the error I expected to see.
Works. So this should be the first pass through.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And we'll do a next, right? And it should error out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's starting the exception.
Mm-hmm.
But that's right. And how do I undo stuff?
Git checkout.
Let's just rerun this command. See if Cucumber is working in general. Everything. Or if we horribly broke something. Oh, that's the step that Marion... In general. I think that's about all we have time for today, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to go.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. Did you get anything? Oh, well. Let's see. Something. Undefined step. I think that's the step Marion had introduced about it being centered on the map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had that a long time because we wanted that feature to say it was centered on Harrow.
Alright, well, there's an R spec. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get going right this minute, then...
Yeah, without that to test it that it's centered, we're leaving ourselves open to that bug coming back where you introduce a non-geocoded organization and the map gets centered in the middle of the Atlantic.
Yeah. Well...
So it'd be nice to test it, but it's feeling like we're stuck with something that's impossible to test.
Oh. So we tightened up the what spec?
Info window. Oh, was it info windows or markers? Was both? No, markers. Gmaps marker spec.
There's a way to let it, to have it...
Not spec,
What?
cucumber step.
Is there a way to have it tell us the diff?
It's just git diff. Oh, it's not. It's git diff head.
Right. So what we can say is we tighten up this org in map step. Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Right, well, thanks for pairing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think that's as tight as we need to make it. It sort of explicitly explains, I think, to each other and hopefully to a future programmer what we try to do.
All right. Bye.
And it works. All right, thank you.